Sonic Prime, an interesting series to say the least, but we're not talking about Sonic or his friends today. Today we will actually be talking about Sonic's best friend, his two-tailed, or well in this reality we should say, his nine-tailed fox friend, Tails 9. Before we begin, huge spoiler warning if you haven't seen Sonic Prime yet, so click off now if you'd rather watch it yourself first. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's begin. Now, it's speculated that when Sonic ran into the Paradox Prism, the universe split itself into many alternative realities of itself, one of which holds our current and main location, New York City. What we see is a messed up version of this reality's Tails' lab. We then realise Tails lives somewhere in an underground train station, or is it Tails? We then realise this might not be the Tails that everyone is so familiar with. His first ever appearance reveals a hostile and aggressive personality with the face anyone could recognise. It's Tails, but missing the personality he is known for. He then yells at Sonic,
"The name's
which we then learn this might not exactly be Tails himself as we know him as. We then notice several metal tails on him, which Sonic asks, "How many tails do you have?" where he responds by saying, which can be obvious of how he got his name. So after a fight scene, Sonic saves Nine's life from getting hit by a train. We are then brought to a scene referencing Sonic Origins where we learn Tails' backstory from the game, where Tails was getting bullied by other foxes, but after Sonic ran by, they got knocked out and they lost interest in bullying our two-tailed buddies. With this, Tails was inspired by his heroism. Now I'm not here to compare the scene from Prime to Origins, but he then runs after Sonic and learns that if he spins his tails, he can fly, which inspires him to be a hero himself. But that's not what happens in this case. Here we learn that in this universe he gets bullied, but there is no hero to inspire him, to help him, and within that pain, he grew a deep and furious personality. When he had enough, he used his intelligence to fight back, building 7 robotic tails that act as if they were his own limbs, which made him give himself the name 9, which is not the only change from his original character. He is more independent and has no one, he needs no one. Unlike Tails, he can fight for himself and he is afraid of nothing. This helps him learn to be smarter and stronger, which is more than Tails ever was without Sonic. 9 may not be as happy or friendly as his original counterpart, but this Tails doesn't need Sonic. He is perfectly fine on his own, he only needs himself and he only wants to avoid everyone and stay secluded.
I was trained by the misery of life in this foul and heartless city."
After being saved, 9 invents new equipment that will stop Sonic's paradox energy from spiraling out of control, in which later on it changes its appearance and style depending on the reality he finds himself to be in. The council then captures Sonic and 9, and like previously stated in the beginning of this video though, this is a 9 video, so we aren't going to go too deep into most events in any episode outside of 9's appearance. So that's pretty much everything about 9 from episode 1. Now let's head on to the next episode. So 9 goes off to a computer to hack the system to free Sonic, and well, that's literally it for 9 in this episode apparently. So in episode 3, 9 successfully reprograms Rusty Rose to join their side to help fight off the legion of robots approaching them. And thus, Sonic, Rebel, Nux, Rusty Rose, and of course 9 gangs up. And 9 completely hacks the entire Egg Council system. And with this, 9 plans on taking down the entire operation if they got their hands on the energy crystal. A small and important part of this episode is when 9 learns about the high five and of course the spin dash, which reveals how slowly he is opening himself out to Sonic, opening his shell and allowing even one person in his secluded life. But later on, when Sonic's pals are attacked by the council once more, it reveals 9 really only cares about Sonic mainly, wanting him to leave them behind over the crystal. This is further proved in episode 6. His next appearance, he quickly saves Sonic from the fight, but quickly also leaves the fight and leaves the friends to fight the council, being able to create an engine that can travel between realities to take Sonic to an isolated shutter space named the Grim, in which he wants to use the prism energy to make it their home that Sonic lost and the one he never had.
"That's the best part of all. There's no one here. It's a clean slate. The perfect place to start over and get the world right. With the proper fortifications and enough shard energy, it could be home. The one you lost. The one I never had. I can make that hope a reality. for both of us.
Though Sonic refuses this idea, and Nine, though seeming furious and distraught at his idea being rejected, accepts Sonic won't join and sends him back to New York City to finish the fight. Though returns when Sonic finds himself in peril once more, though promises to leave forever afterwards to continue his plans. And unfortunately, all does not go to plan, as his act of kindness for Sonic only leads him back to the hands of the Council. In episode 8, he only proceeds to mock the Council for them being lousy at retrieving the Shatter Drive's energy, while also complimenting Sonic's power, being able to travel between shatter spaces alone, while the Council is only able to send robots through. All the while, he is being tortured for this, and yet he still believes in Sonic.
You sent your robots to another shatter space. Big difference. You've only barely accomplished what he's done without any technology. He's a living shatter battery. Till we know why he gives off this power, we need him alive.
And with that, that is the last time Nine is seen in Season 1 of Sonic Prime.